Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel. Peter likes books. Okay, let's get right into this video. And I haven't made a video on this channel for like a week. I have a channel called Peter Monn. That's a drama commentary channel. If you didn't know, there's been a lot going on that I've had to comment on. So I've been trying to keep up with all of that, let alone make videos on my other channel. My goal is this week to get back to posting videos on every single one of my channels. And so this video that I'm making today, I really was going to make on Saturday, and I completely just, it came and went, and I didn't even realize it. And what that is that this is my 3-year anniversary on Booktube. And I was very sad that I missed it. I have to tell you guys, it's kind of bittersweet. Like, it's so weird that been on Booktube for 3 years, been on YouTube for 3 years. That's really where I started. It started for me. I have 5 channels now, and it all started from Booktube. You know, I had posted some stupid videos before that, but really, Booktube is where I consistently started posting videos out of my love of books, out of my love of Booktube, and I had been watching a lot of people. And so Saturday came and went, and I was filming a collab with somebody else, and I had to drive there and I'd drive back, and I had all this stuff going on, and I had to be back in time to do some stuff, and it just completely, I spaced it. I just completely didn't even think about the fact that it was my sobriety birthday. My sobriety birthday is December 17th. That it was my 3 years on Booktube. I could not believe it because that date is so important to me. And it was actually in a Peterisms video that I think I did on Monday. And I was reading this meditation. I read a lot of meditations over there. And I read this meditation, and it was about like what books do for us, what reading does for us. And in the middle of that, if you watch that video, in the middle of it, I'm like, I realized that my Booktube anniversary had come and gone. And it made me really, really sad because this community has meant so much to me. And, you know, so many things have happened in the 3 years since I've been on Booktube. I have met so many fantastic people through Booktube. And, you know, booktubers, bookstagrammers, book bloggers, publishers, authors, I mean, on and on and on. I have met so many fantastic people that I never would have met before. Now, I will say something that I haven't said in my 2 previous years. Booktube's a rather opinionated place, okay? It really, really is. There's actually a lot of drama in the Booktube community. I try to kind of stay away from all that. When I first got on Booktube, I did a video that was a little controversial about what is a reader, or what does a reader look like. I've stayed away since then. I've tried to stay away from that. I've tried to stay away from the problematic books. I've tried to, you know, just stay over here out of my love of reading. Because I don't think that we need to argue, and I don't think that we need to fight, you know? I think one of the things I've always loved about certain booktubers, you know, out there, is that we can have our opinion, and we can say it in an intellectual, you know, kind, compassionate way, if we say it in an intellectual, kind, compassionate way. But we don't have to tear each other apart. And I've seen a lot of that, and it makes me really, really sad. But it always seems to be initiated by somebody, and usually it's not even just that, it's on Twitter or whatever, initiated by somebody saying, oh, blah, 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 whatever, and having a rather, should I use the word, ignorant stance? But, you know, it is what it is. And I just kind of walk away and go, unfollow. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it is. Because there's a lot of people out there that I feel like sometimes I'm like, what did you just put out there in the world? You know what I mean? So anyway, regarding to books. But Booktube has just been so amazing to me. And I would say 95% of it has just been all good, you know? And I hope that's everybody else's experience. I really, really hope for those of you out there that you have the same experience with Booktube that I've had. There have been so many people that I have met along the way that I like feel like are kindred spirits, even though I've never met them, you know, from the very, very beginning of, you know, Booktube, people that I loved back then, you know, like Connor O'Brien was somebody that I loved from the very beginning. And to be able to watch him, not just his book journey, but his life journey has been very, very cool, you know, and there's been other people as well that I've just like watched from afar, and I'm just like, I love everything that they put out, and some of them are very, very small, and he's just one example, and I'm not going to get on here and list 50 people, you know, but you know, another one that's been always very, very kind to me is Richard, from Richard's Book Nook to Richard's this to Richard's that. I don't know, Richard, what your channel is called today, but I still watch it. And, you know, and what I love about him is that he's very honest about needing to take breaks and self-care and stuff like that. And I love the fact that he's always working on his next book, and that's inspiring to me. And there's so many people like that. You know, the fact that now booktubers are being taken seriously to a point that they're actually publishing books, you know, that to me is so cool. That major publishers are taking Booktube seriously. seriously, you know, that to some degree, and it's the truth, okay, whether people want to ignore it or not, that booktubers, bookstagrammers, and book bloggers are dictating what books should be at the top of the list out there. I have met some people, fictional people, that I never would have met before had it not been for Booktube. I remember seeing a tweet from Jenna Claire about the book, The Hate You Give, and I had not heard of it. It had just come out, and I remember seeing the tweet, and she said something like, I can't put it down. And that night, I got online and I looked at it, and I immediately got the audiobook, and I started listening to it that night, and that book changed me. And, you know, the character of Star changed me. And from there, you know, reading other books that had been, you know, recommended, The Underground Railroad, Dumplin'. Dumplin' is one of my all-time favorite books that I would never have read. I struggle so much in my life with body acceptance and, you know, social anxiety, self-esteem and confidence. I think like many of us. And that book gave me so much courage and gave me so much, I don't know, inspiration and motivation. There are so many books that I've read, you know, and not even books that have to have any profound meaning, you know, to us. I started reading the Harry Potter books. I have not finished them yet, but I started reading the whole series. And, you know, I'm right now listening to The Devouring Grey, which is a book that I never would have picked up. Never, 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 because I don't like fantasy, and I'm absolutely loving The Devouring Grey. I never would have read books like, you know, Six of Crows. Yeah, I just, that's not a book that would have ever been anywhere around that I ended up really liking, or Cinder, you know. And I've always said I wanted to finish the Lunar Chronicles, and I haven't, because there's so many books out there that I want to read. My favorite book so far this year, or maybe one of my favorite books for the last 3 to 5 years, has been The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Everybody should read this book. It is a powerful book. It is important. I did a whole video about it. And I think I called the video something like my favorite book I've read this year. I never would have known about that book had it not been for Booktube. And watching other people's videos and seeing other people's tweets, you know, I constantly am screenshotting what people put out. Dylan, from formerly Dylan the Reader 5, I don't know what his channel is called anymore. I don't know why he's not posting videos, but he tweets every hour on the hour, if ever not 20 minutes, constantly is recommending books. I'm like constantly screenshotting his, you know, Twitter feed of like a book that I should get and things like that. And I do that with so many of you guys out there, and you probably have no clue, you know, that I am sitting there watching everything that goes down. In the last 2 months, I found Spencer at Common Spence, and he has brought me, and sometimes in my saddest moments, because we all have those, he's brought me, you can see I'm very tearful about this, because Booktube means so much to me. He's brought me such humor and such delight. I watched his video where he did like a driving vlog of talking about The Devouring Grey, and he was also in there talking about, what was the book? The Maureen Johnson book. Why can't I remember? But anyway, the Vanishing Stare is the newest part of that one. Oh, Truly Devious. He's talking about that in there. And it just was so much fun to watch that vlog, you know? And there's so many of you guys out there, like Julia Sapphire, you know, Lily C. Reeds. There's so many of you out there. And, you know, I started watching Booktube, I think, like many of us, watching the huge people, you know, Jessie the Reader and, you know, Christine and, you know, anyway, so many of people out there. And there's so many people that I have found that have a unique voice, that have, you know, that they just, everything that they say resonates with me on some level. I have participated in so many, you know, readathons at this point. I remember my first year of doing Booktubeathon. I have done a whole video on that, about how emotional that was for me and how that was really a pivotal point in my life. This last year, Kayla at Books and Lala asked me to participate as one of the people co-hosting Spookathon, which was huge. I love her so much. She is probably, I know we shouldn't have favorites, but she is. She's my favorite. And what a hard worker, right? What a hard worker, as well as a mother and a wife. And and many of us are, and many of you are, hard workers, you know? And, but I think that our love of reading is what binds us together. It's been an amazing journey. A year ago, I started a book club called Peter's Book Club, and we were thinking about changing the name because I met probably one of the greatest friends I've ever had in my entire life, Mel, who started off being an assistant because I needed somebody to help me run the threads, because it literally, I mean, took off like nobody's business on Goodreads. And she offered to help, and it was really hard for me. I'm somebody, because of my social anxiety, I don't let a lot of people in. And I did, because I trusted her, and she seemed to be really nice, and she seemed to really care. We talk on the phone all the time. we've talked about so many things that have absolutely nothing to do with books. She's been there for me at some of the hardest times of my life. And she's just a phenomenal friend, and I'm so thankful to you, Mel. And I'm so thankful to Booktube, because had it not been for Booktube, I wouldn't have started the book club. I wouldn't have gotten out of my social anxiety. I wouldn't have gotten out of my skin, so to speak, and actually allowed her in to have this friendship that I have today. All because of Booktube, you know? It's so much deeper than just sitting down on camera and making a video. Our 1-year anniversary was in April. I didn't even know that. She knew that. And this year we're doing a year of true crime. And I will throw this announcement out there right now for those of you that are watching that are part of the book club. Next month in June, we are reading Killer Clown. I'm real emotional that I'm going into Killer Clown. We're reading Killer Clown by John Wayne Gacy, but I will make an announcement video talking all about that. But our June book, so that you can get on the library list, you can start buying it, all that stuff, is Killer Clown about John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer. You know, the book club has been so much fun. And it started last year, you know, with us reading all these books. And one of the first books that we read, if not the first book that we read, was I'll Be Gone in the Dark, about the Golden State Killer. That book, which ended up being my favorite book of last year, is not just a true crime book to me, you know? It's about a woman's journey of finding out the truth about a story. I still think about Michelle McNamara, who wrote that book. I've followed that case. I've watched, you know, all these documentaries about it. I've watched all of these, you know, listened to all of these podcasts. I've listened to interviews with her husband, and, you know, I've watched everything to do with Paul Holes, who was the investigator on the case. And to some degree, it's allowed me to be passionate about something through reading somebody else's passion. In April, Mel suggested that we read for the book club Columbine, because it was the 20th anniversary. There's a lot of different opinions about that book out there. But the book really changed something in me profoundly from just reading that book. Because I started, you know, reading it, and it wasn't just the book. It was after the book I was watching interviews that I wouldn't have seen had I not read the book. And the mother of one of the students that was killed, she said, after Columbine, the town changed. Everybody was kinder, everybody was more compassionate, everybody was a little bit more loving to one another. But that faded away over time. And I thought about that, and I thought about, you know, how maybe that's something that we all need to do on a daily basis. I got that from reading that book about that horrible event that changed people forever, you know? It really changed my perspective on a lot of things, and a lot of the books that I've read have changed my perspective. I'm so, so, so grateful and thankful for Booktube. People say to me all the time, they're like, if you were going to give up, what channel would you give up? If you were going to just, like, you know, because like this channel you do a lot of videos on, this channel you don't. They're like, well, why don't you give up your Booktube video? You could do your Booktube channels, or Booktube channel. Why don't you could do your videos on another channel? I will never give up this channel. Not until I'm forced off of Booktube will I ever give up this channel. Hold on a second. Somebody wants to come up and say hi. Boo Radley. All my dogs have made appearances in my Booktube video at one point or another. Haven't you, Boo? He said, we're ready to go run around outside. They've been outside all day. I will never give up this channel. I love this channel. It's too dear for me. I may go periods of time without posting videos on this channel, and I may go where I'm posting videos twice a day on this channel. It just depends on how I feel at the moment. And one of the things I have loved about Booktube that isn't, I would say, consistent out of other places on YouTube is people are patient with you. People really don't care. If you post a video once a week, they're okay with that. If people post a video once a month, they're okay with that. If you post videos every day, people will watch. It's one of the most gracious, entertaining, passionate places I've ever seen. I look at Booktube kind of like this gated... He's digging his bed back there. I look at Booktube as kind of like this gated community, right? That there's this huge door to, that we all walk through, and that we're all just kind of hanging out there. That's how it kind of feels like to me, you know? On like an internet level. And I'm so, so, so grateful to be part of the Booktube community. Thank you for allowing me to be here. If you're somebody that's watching this video that has thought to yourself for a long time, I want to start a Booktube, or I want to start a Bookstagram, or I want to do a book blog, but I don't know, blah, 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 blah. I sat down on May 11th, 3 years ago, okay? And I really thought about it the night before. I think the night before, I reserved the name and I reserved the Twitter account for it, because I wanted to be Peter Loves Books, but it wasn't available on one of the platforms, which is why I did Peter Likes Books. And I talked to my husband and I talked to my best friend about it. And they're like, you're another project that you're not going to follow through with, you know, whatever. And I was like, no, you know, whatever. Because I'm always starting things. That's who I am. I've been that way since I was a kid. I've always got 10 projects going. And I'm an ideas guy. And a lot of people say things to me like, oh, you start things, but you never finish them, right? Well, I start a lot of things that I do finish. A lot. And 3 years later, I'm still here. All because I sat down and made that very, very awkward video where I said, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I guess books. I guess I'll talk about book reviews. I didn't know. All I know is that I wanted to be part of this. This was something that I needed. I felt like I needed to be part of because I didn't have a lot of people in my personal life that read, that I could talk to about books. And now I have thousands of you out there. So thank you for allowing me to be part of this community. I'm so grateful for it. It is the coolest thing ever. And if you're thinking about starting it, start it today. Do not wait. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.